We're here with the one and only, the author, the mother, the lovely wife, the entrepreneur. The list goes on and on. The one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Nicole Cloud. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. Glad to be here.
No, thank you, because you have a busy schedule.
Yes, it's very busy right now.
So you all may know her from Married to Medicine, but aside from that, this is an entrepreneur right here. So let's touch base on where it all started.
You know, I love entrepreneurship. It's really my passion. From the time I was a little girl, I was starting businesses. I remember when I was in high school and I had this goal to go to 12 proms by the time I graduated. Well, needless to say, my mother was not going to buy 12 prom dresses. So, you know, I started making jewelry and selling it to the girls at school around prom time so that I would have money to buy my dresses. So I've just always had a passion for entrepreneurship. I started my first business when I was in high school. After college, you know, I thought I wanted to be a doctor. I went to Emory. I was pre-med, came out of college, thought I was going to go down that path. But then there was a business person in me that said, ruh-roh, healthcare is changing. You know, doctors aren't making what they used to make. Managed care is kicking in. And I couldn't really justify all the debt for the amount of money I would make when I came out. And so I started looking into business. And business was a natural revolution for me because it's what I love doing, you know. And so worked a job in corporate America, felt like I was in a box, felt very unfulfilled.
Like most do.
Like most people do, you know, you think that's the way to the American dream,
Exactly.
so you go down that path. But you realize, for me, I realized the job was just over broke. You know, I was making money, I was getting by, I had some nice things, but I wasn't getting to my financial goals and dreams. And I certainly wasn't becoming financially free. And so when I realized that the path to the American dream wasn't by working a job and building someone else's wealth, it was by owning your own business and building your own wealth, that's when, you know, I started my first business. I started a home-based business, and in that business is where I earned my first million. And that was in direct sales, a home-based business that you do on a part-time, spare-time basis. I built an organization of about 160,000 representatives around the world. Thank you. And I love it. I love, you know, it's a very fulfilling career because you're helping other people become successful. You're changing other people's lives. You're teaching them how to tap into their God-given gifts and talents and grow. And in 10 years, I've been doing this now 10 years, I've helped documented 15 people become self-made millionaires.
And the number one thing that prevents individuals from starting their own business is fear. So how did you overcome that?
Fear, I believe, stands for false evidence appearing real. And I coach people all the time on moving through their fears because, you know, the emotion that you feel when you're afraid is real, but a lot of times the facts behind why you're afraid, they don't make any sense. They're not logical, you know. People are afraid to fly because they think they're going to have a plane crash, but what's the percentage of planes really crashing? More cars get in accidents. So the way to deal with the fear is to feel it, acknowledge that you feel it, face it, and then do it anyways. Do it afraid. And then you get over fear. So I teach people, you know, you're going to have to just, if you want to be successful, you're going to have to plow through fear. You cannot let fear overtake you, because it will absolutely stop you in your tracks. And so if you are afraid, acknowledge it. Think about, this is a question you can always ask yourself when you're afraid. What's the worst thing that could happen if, let's say someone's afraid to public speak? What's the worst thing that could happen if I got in front of this room and all these people were hearing me speak? What would be the worst thing that could happen? They not like what I said, you know, they boo me off the stage, you know. But at the end of the day, is that going to kill you?
No, it'll only make you stronger.
It only makes you stronger. And so helping people just kind of work through that process of what the worst outcome would be really helps people realize that there's nothing logical about that fear that you're feeling. And I've helped many entrepreneurs get over fear of succeeding, because a lot of people don't get to the level of success that they desire because they self-sabotage and they're afraid of success. And when they're right there knocking on success's door, they turn back. So I coach entrepreneurs all the time how to embrace it and not be afraid and know that God has equipped you with everything you need to be successful.
So how did you celebrate when you became a millionaire? Because most people don't know how to act. So how did you celebrate?
You know, it was just one of the milestones. You know, when I saw my income statement and I had made over $1 million in a year, I was like, wow, I did it, you know. But wealth is not about the money you make. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. Okay? And so too oftentimes people come into some money and they're going out and they're buying the big houses and they're buying the expensive cars and, you know, buying all of the fancy shoes. And okay, don't get me wrong, I like nice things, but I still believe that you have to recognize that wealth is not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep, how much wealth you can leave to that next generation. You know, how liquid are you, you know? Most Americans are one check away from bankruptcy.
That is true.
One check away from bankruptcy. If your job were to let you go tomorrow, you might have enough in the bank to get by 1 month, but then you'd be in a bad situation. And so I really help people understand how to make money, how to have profitable businesses, but then how to turn that money into wealth.
Exactly. And speaking of making money, when you make money, you have to invest
You have to invest
it.
So
how do you make that right decision as far as should I invest within this company or that company?
Well, you know, I own several different businesses. Direct sales was the vehicle that helped me get cash and resources, but I always studied successful people like Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump and, you know, some of their success philosophies. And they always said that you really become a wealthy person by being an owner of businesses, plural. So I took the money that I made in direct sales. I started my clothing line. I started my business development company. I started my media company. And I just started investing in other projects. People come to me all the time with great ideas and they need capital. And, you know, sometimes if I really like the idea, then I invest. And I turn that money into more money.
So with such a busy schedule, where did you find the time to write 3 books, and you're in the process of writing your 4th book?
The first book I wrote is a book called Mastering the Art of Success, and that's actually a compilation book. So it wasn't that I authored all of the chapters. I was in a book with several successful people like Les Brown, who everyone knows, people like you know, the gentleman Jack Canfield, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, that whole series. And so that book was about success. And they interviewed very successful people and asked them to try to find what their common characteristics were. And most successful people, we think and believe the same philosophies. You know, success is not about reinventing the wheel. It's about following proven success systems. And so that book was easy because they literally just interviewed me, and from the information that I shared with them, we wrote the chapter. The next book was a book about becoming successful. It's a book called Wealthy Women of Direct Sales. And again, it was another compilation book where they interviewed very successful women in the industry of direct sales. We shared our success secrets and success strategies, and it did very well as well. And then I have No One Ever Won Without a Coach. So oftentimes people try to push themselves. But when you think about a professional athlete, someone like a Michael Jordan, do you think he could be Michael Jordan without a good coach? You know, a coach is there to push you to peak performance. When you want to slide back and pull back and rest and relax, they're there to say, no, you can go. Give me another, you know, 100 jump shots, you know, or in the instance of a business person, no, go out and talk to 20 more people this month, you know. So I help business owners set strategic goals, attainable goals, and I keep them accountable to the goals they're setting. I help them look at their businesses and wherever they're deficient, maybe they're not great with bookkeeping and accounting and taxation strategies, right? A lot of people have a business, but their books are a mess.
Exactly.
You know, well, how are you going to know if you're profitable if your books are a mess? So, you know, I have experts that I work with that, you know, I refer people to that can help that new entrepreneur that's struggling in that area. You know, maybe they're struggling because they don't have their business structured right. They're a corporation and they should be an LLC or vice versa. So we really look at every aspect of a business owner's business. We look at what their marketing plan is, what their sales goals and objectives are, what their measurable benchmarks are. And I really help them turn average businesses into awesome businesses that are very, very profitable. So, and it's all about coaching people. You know, every successful person has a coach. Oprah Winfrey has a coach.
Exactly.
Bill Gates has a coach. Somebody that can hold you accountable, someone that you respect, and someone who is at a level that you're not at. Someone that's going to push you to go to that next level. And oftentimes people don't want to invest in a coach because they think they're already having success. But if you knew everything you needed to know to get to the life that you've already dreamt, that you always dream of, you'd already be there. You'd already have the big bank account. You'd already have the yacht, the mansion, you know. You'd already be a philanthropist giving money that you have sitting around back to help other people. So, you know, people have to understand that they're their best resource. They have to invest in themselves to go to the next level.
And I know that you're a lovely mother, so with Mother Day around the corner, what do you look forward to?
Gosh, my children are everything to me.
Kids.
Yes, Mama loves you. Yes, my babies are everything. You know, they're my why. They're the reason I get up and I work hard every single day and I sacrifice. And, you know, I start businesses like the clothing line so that they can have a business that's theirs if they want it. And if they don't want to run it, they don't want it, they can hire someone to run it and override it, you know. But motherhood is everything to me. I love family. I'm a very family-oriented person. So we spend a lot of quality family time together. Every night, my kids and I, we say our prayers together. I ask them every day how school was, you know, tell me what you learned in school. We have very intelligent conversation. You know, most people listen to my children and they feel like they're old souls because of the kind of conversation that they have.
You have to mold them while they're young.
Exactly. Yes. On the way here, I was talking to my son, and he just got his next belt in karate.
Oh, okay.
He's like 3 belts away from black. And so he had his belt ceremony, and my nanny sent me the picture and so forth. And so I said, well, what do you want? You know, you deserve to be rewarded for that accomplishment. And so he said, Mommy, I want a hamster. I said, a hamster? What are you going to do with a hamster? And he started telling me what he was going to do with the hamster and that he'd take good care of it and so forth. And then, you know, I said, well, are you going to get a boy or a girl? And he was like, well, we can get both, a boy and a girl. And I'm like, no, then we'll have all those babies. Well, and you know what he said? Well, we can sell them, Mom, and we can make a business.
But tell him, if
That's how
you
he
do get
thinks.
a boy and a girl, once she gives birth, you have to separate the male.
Oh, really?
Yes, because once the male touches the babies, the mother is going to eat them because of the scent.
Oh, no, okay. Well, I told him, no, we can't have, I don't do mice, I don't do rodents, you know, I can do a dog, but no mice, you know. So, but the way he thinks is, well, Mommy, if they make babies, we can sell them. I said, how much can we sell them for? He's like, $60. And I'm like, well, they're $10 in the pet store. I don't think that makes very much sense. So, I mean, my children are just wise beyond their years. Yesterday, my daughter got a fortune cookie. And she read the fortune, and she came to me and she said, Mommy, pray for what you want, but work for what you need. Pray for what you want and work for what you need. And I looked at her, and I didn't know where she got that from. I said, where did you get that from? She said, good Chinese fortune. You know? And she holds up this fortune, and then you know, my kids, they're just intelligent. They're so smart, and they're always smiling, and we're happy.
How do you balance your career and your family life?
You know, that's probably one of the areas that I find most challenging because I'm an A-type personality. I'm a driver. I'm passionate about starting businesses. I'm a visionary. I have so many ideas. And, you know, taking that time out turning it off. So, you know, usually Fridays I never work. I turn off the phone. You know, usually I have my massage therapist come or my esthetician come, and while the kids are at school, I'll get my facial and my massage. But Friday night is family time. So whether we're watching a movie together, you know, whether we're having dinner around the table, you have to carve out that quality family time with your children and your spouse. Otherwise, they will resent your success.
Exactly.
So balance is something that I have to really work hard to challenge myself to turn it off. Thankfully, I have a good team around me, and they help me because they know if I'm not working on Friday, they don't have to work that hard on Friday. So, you know, having the right team around you that you can delegate and, you know, they know what your goals are, not only professionally, but personally, makes a big difference.
And earlier you said that you guys should start by designing things. So let's touch base on your fashion line.
Yes. So yeah, from the time I was a young girl, I loved fashion. I loved glamour. You know, I used to make these fancy earrings that they would go into the boutiques and they would be charging like $50 and $60 for, but I went to the craft store and found all the things that they used to make these things. So I've always had an eye for fashion. And as a professional businesswoman, I oftentimes found it challenging to find clothes that were classy, that were sophisticated, that exuded power and success, but that were fashion forward, and most importantly, that everybody didn't have on. You know, there's only a few boutique chains out there, and you know, I think the thing that happened to me that was the turning point for me that made me say, you know what, I'm just going to design my own clothes, is I was speaking at Madison Square Garden. I was speaking with Russell Simmons, and I came out, and someone else came out in the exact same outfit I had on. It was like the air sucked out of the room. It was like, here we were, two successful, powerful women walking out on stage, and we had the exact same outfit on. And I remember going home to my hotel and saying,
Did you control
that will
your
never
reaction on stage?
happen. I don't know what my face looked like on stage, because all I kept thinking about is, how did that just happen? I bought my outfit from a very expensive boutique, a very exclusive boutique, but the bottom line is if you're buying off the rack, that can happen.
Exactly.
And so I went back and I said, you know what, I'm just going to design my own clothes. I'm going to work with, you know, designers and have them sew what I want and what I like. And I realized I had a gift. And then I said to myself, you know, as a successful businesswoman, I want to start a line for businesswomen. You know, clothes that are fashion forward, that are chic, that are elegant, that are sophisticated, but that are a little sexy too, you know. And when you walk into the room, people look at you and they know you have something designer on. You make a statement, because dressing for success is part of being successful. And I believe when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do good. And so that's really the philosophy behind the Lisa Nicole collection. It's for today's professional woman who wants to exude power, confidence, sophistication, class.
Name, what's one word that best describes your style?
I would say classy and sassy. A little bit of class and a little bit of sass with a whole lot of fashion. And glamour, yeah.
And we'll be back.